Well, the fact that you're doing it and the fact that you're learning a new thing that's really difficult to learn, don't you think that that's good for your brain?
No, I am a big believer in constantly learning. It's why I like you as a person, because you're constantly like, you're not the Joe I knew 3 years ago in a good way. You're like, you learn all of this. You know, when I first met you, you weren't hunting. You were into martial. That was the thing. You were two-dimensional. You were, which was amazing because everyone was just a comedian. You were this Taekwondo champion, stand-up guy. And then since then, you've added all, like the guests that you have on and the fact that you're able to like talk to them and stuff is because you've continued to, it's the same thing with like a comic who writes his first hour and then just sits on it for like 8 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden 2 presidents goes by and it's like, why aren't they laughing anymore? It's like, because you're just stuck in time. So I believe in that. And I also believe in playing card games and stuff is good for your mind.
Yeah.
And
any games. They say even video games. People like to shit on video games, but they say video games have a positive cognitive effect on kids.
Yeah,
because you're calculating and moving, you're thinking fast.
Yeah, their hand-eye coordination is like insane. Yeah. I guess some of those games, if you play them, I guess, I don't know.
Well, you think about the amount of hours they're putting into their thumbs. Just how often do you really use your thumb in like detailed ways? Very rarely. But kids today, they have ridiculous thumb dexterity.
I tapped out Grand Theft Auto 3 is when I stopped, which was about 2003, 2002 or something. They were just too amazing. And I was just like, I am nowhere in my career right now. And this is just, dude, I was walking around. I was living in New York at the time, and I would stop playing the game. And I would be walking down the street thinking about it, like walking to the subway, like not thinking about jokes, thinking how I could beat this next level. And I remember I played this Medal of Honor game, and they had this thing when you hit the sniper button, like the scope would go like that, and X would go like that. And I played it one week so much that when I walked out on the street, I was looking at people across the street doing like that X was going on their face. I was just like, there's something about, like, I already am not the brightest guy, when it comes to like school. So it's just like, I was like, this is doing something to my brain. So I remember came home and I just unplugged everything, like really quickly, took everything off because I knew I was never going to figure it out and I didn't have the instructions anymore. I just stuck it in the back of the closet. Like, well, that's it.
I did the same thing with video games with Quake. I had a real problem when I was playing 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day sometimes. I had a T1 line installed in my house just so I could play with a fast internet connection. This is like 1998.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I mean, there was slow internet where I was. So I said, well, what's the options? And so one option is they chew up the street and put this crazy fat business line. Cost me a shitload of money. And I was like, let's do it. So I had it installed, a business line that we'd use at the time, you'd use for a large building.
Right.
And I had it just for my house. And I would play video games online all the time. And
you could play online against people for the last 20 years?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
We'd play online teams. We'd have teams of guys, like me and 3 of my friends would play against 4 other guys. And we'd like meet at a certain server, and you could chat and talk to each other. All right, you ready to go? All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. And then the game will start, and then we'd have these matches, and it was fun, man. It was really fun. It was really exciting too because it's all happening in real time.
Yeah.
But I reached a point somewhere around like the year 2000 where I know one day I played until it was sunlight, until the sun came up. And, I'm 30 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there. My hands are sweating. I'm all caffeinated up. I've been drinking Mountain Dew for the past 8 hours. And I realized, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this is, I'm not where I want to be as a comic. I'm not where I want to be with my life. And I'm just sitting here playing video games all the time. And there's no future in this. I've been stuck in things where there's no future before. I know what that is. I felt like that with fighting. I was when I was 21, there was a point in time where I was like, there's no future in this. Like, I'm just going to keep getting hit in the head, and I'm going to get dumber and more brain damage and more crazy. Right. And I'm like, this is dangerous. And I realized I got to stop. I got to stop. There's no future in this. There was no money in fighting back then either. And then I got there with pool. Same thing with pool. Like, my manager called me up, and he said, I think you play pool too much. He's like, I think he's like, I think that you seriously think about pool more than you do your career. And I respect him, and he's a very good friend of mine. So I had to really pause. I didn't take it lightly. I had to take a deep breath, and I was like, he's right. He's right. I play pool all the time. I was playing every day. I have a real addictive personality.
I do too. So I get like how many hours I want to get flying, and then like things I want to learn playing drums and stuff, and then it becomes I've had to learn to be like, Bill, these are hobbies.
Yes.
Okay, you're a dad first, then you're a comedian.
Yep.
Let's sort of prioritize. Like the world isn't waiting for you to know how to play good times, bad times.
Yeah,
that can sit back a little bit.
But the fact that you're doing that kind of stuff, I think, is great. I really identify with you in a lot of ways. The way you do that, the way you get crazy about drums, or you get crazy about
cooking,
helicopter,
everything. I go down like I got to learn all about like